All right, welcome. We're here with another Be the Exception podcast. We're here with Ellyott Frazer.
Hello.
Ellyott, welcome.
Nice to be here.
Why do people spell your name wrong all the time?
Well, my name is abnormally spelled, so I can't blame them. But
Why is it abnormally spelled?
I don't know. Ask my mom and my dad.
You've never asked them that?
I don't know why it's spelled the way it is. I just know where it's from.
Where's it from?
They grew up. They watched a show together called Scrubs, and somebody on there was named Elliott. So
Elliott's a teen athlete. If you guys don't know anything about Ellyott, Scrubs was a very prolific show while I was growing up. So,
and I don't even think it's spelled like that in the show. But I guess they just tried to make it more girly, and it came out the way it did.
Interesting. I would be curious to hear their reasoning behind that. So if you ever ask them, please let me know.
I need to know.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely need to know why your name is spelt the way that it is.
It's literally the most interesting spelling choice.
Spell it really quick for people. I guess they can read the title.
Ellyott.
Yeah. Yep. I've spelt it wrong several times.
Like all the time.
Yeah. Yep. So, well, thanks for coming on, Ellyott. I think we're going to just kind of dive into, I think you're kind of known around our community, but we're trying to get your name out there a little bit. So
yes.
We'll just kind of dive into your training history, kind of what got you into CrossFit, what keeps you around in CrossFit, because you've been doing it for a while now, right? A couple of years.
Yeah, just about 3 years now.
Okay.
Competitively.
Yeah. And then kind of what your future holds, because you just graduated high school and you got some big plans coming up. So, start off, tell us how you got into CrossFit.
I did CrossFit back in 2020, like a class or two with my dad.
Yeah.
I think that was him just trying to keep me fit.
Okay.
Because at this time, I'd already, in my 6th grade year of middle school, I tore my ACL and my meniscus.
Oh, okay.
And so, as you can imagine, me already not being old enough to get an intensive surgery like that, but also COVID hitting,
you couldn't get a surgery for those?
Not immediately. I was still growing, so
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were worried I would stunt my growth if I got it immediately.
Really? Okay.
So I ended up waiting 2 years to get surgery. So I was just walking around on a bum knee.
For 2 years?
Yeah.
Wow. How painful was that?
The first year was definitely I really couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And then I started getting a little ballsy.
And started. What does that mean? Were you playing sports or jumping around?
I wasn't playing any team sports or anything, but I was messing around. I was riding my bike. I was playing out in the neighborhood and stuff like that. And then obviously I did a couple CrossFit classes.
Okay.
And then I started to tear my other knee from bearing the weight of it all.
Compensating.
I had to chill out.
Dang, that's crazy. So you basically were on a bum knee for 2 years. You started doing CrossFit because your dad wanted you to.
Yeah, just stay fit during COVID. I'm sure I did less than 5 classes, and I was out of there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, so what was your first experience like? Only 5 classes, so you obviously loved it, right?
Yeah, I loved it. It was great. I honestly hated it.
Okay.
It was just something I was so not used to, and especially me being probably 10, 11, maybe 12 at the time. My attention span just couldn't take it.
Couldn't take the 60-minute classes?
Yeah.
Or oh, really?
There was just it just wasn't something that I was interested in at the time. And it may have just been the environment. It wasn't the best gym, wasn't the best people. So
oh, okay.
I was one of the only kids there.
So you were in a room full of adults, trying to work out with them, have no idea what this is.
Yeah.
So you're what's a thruster?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
I looked stupid half of the time, but I mean, it was COVID, so it was what it is.
It was just something to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. How had your dad been going there for a while, or?
Yeah, he had probably been going there for a year or so at this point. That was this gym, around this time is when he started. He kind of got into it around the time maybe before COVID started. It's a way of just getting back into fitness because he grew up pretty athletic. But
okay, yeah. What did you tear your knee doing?
I was playing soccer. I played soccer growing up.
Gotcha.
Middle school game, got big bodied by a girl, and jacked it up.
Dang.
So I got surgery 8th grade year.
Okay.
Before going into high school, and that's kind of when CrossFit came back around. I got my surgery in December of, I believe it was 2020.
Okay, so same year COVID then.
Yeah, later that year.
Okay.
I got the surgery, and it was expected about like a 9-month recovery time.
Okay.
So I still wasn't able to play sports because I wasn't cleared to. So I was in physical therapy every week for 9 months.
Oh, wow. Dang.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was annoying at first, but I mean, I just got antsy to get back to doing something. So
yeah. Was it like, so when you say annoying at first, was it like, did you understand like this is the process to get back to doing things? You just kind of put up with it, or?
Yeah, I mean, it being the start of a 9-month journey, I was just like, I have to do this every day for 9 months or every week for 9 months. Like, you're kidding.
Yeah. Did you start to see like progress along the way that you could like do more and more?
Oh, like, I mean, immediately. I had surgery, and that it happened on like a Thursday or Friday, and I went to therapy that Monday or something like that.
Oh, okay.
It was like almost immediately, and probably like within a week or two, I couldn't walk on my knee, but I was starting to get like range of motion back.
Okay. So what kept you like focused and motivated during that time? Because 9 months, especially for like somebody your age, that's a long time. So like what kept you like focused and motivated and like understanding that this is just kind of a process to get back to where you want to be?
I think I was just so like tired of being down and out, because at this point it had been, I mean, over 2 years.
Yeah.
I was about to go into high school, and I wanted to get into like sports. Like, I mean, I know I had been down and out, but I was like, maybe this could be a chance for me to like really get back into the sports.
Yeah.
Going into high school, I feel like it's a good time to like put your head down and grind, especially on like just a high school sport.
Right.
I think that's just what, kept me on track. Obviously, wanting to just be healed was big too, but like, I think I had thought more about like, all right, I can get back to soccer, or like I can play basketball, like whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But
so just like bigger picture focus of like wanting to play a sport really bad and knowing like this is the process to play it.
I was just antsy at this point.
Yeah. Okay, so did you start playing sports in high school then, or?
Yeah, so it came around, I got cleared the September that I started high school.
Okay.
And it was like got cleared immediately into conditioning for basketball.
Okay.
So
had you been playing basketball before this?
I never played basketball.
Oh, you're just like, screw it, let's go.
Yeah.
You're like, first sport I can play, let's go.
I was like, it was before soccer. I was like, I wasn't 100% if I wanted to go back to soccer. I was like, let me try basketball.
Okay.
I hate basketball. But
okay. Fair.
I got in there, I was playing white girl got hops, whatever. My knee held up fine. I mean, I was just, pretty extra cautious, but like got through the season. I ended up later in the season dropping a plate on my foot once I had started CrossFit, and like broke a couple little bones in my foot. So I'd like sit out the rest of my basketball season.
Dang.
Yeah.
So wait, so you were playing basketball and CrossFitting?
It like around the time like the Open came around, probably like February is when I started, and basketball season didn't end until around like March, April.
Oh, okay. When did it start again? It's December, you said?
Basketball?
Yeah.
We started conditioning in like October, and then like,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you'd spent like 5 months conditioning and playing basketball, started CrossFit again, broke your foot, did the Open?
I did. It was in like February when that happened, and it healed pretty fast. It was just, swollen.
Yeah. Did you get an x-ray on it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They put me in like the little shoe.
Yeah. So it was like broken.
Yeah, it was just like the little bones in my foot. But I literally just started CrossFit at that time to like try to like gain back the strength that I had lost.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because like up until surgery, I regained some muscle just from like messing around. But then you have surgery, and I feel like it just completely wipes it. Like you could see differences in my legs.
Yeah, like one leg was bigger than the other leg. Yeah,
like this leg just looks soft.
Did they not try and fix that in PT, or?
I regained muscle, but like you could still see that it was just like there was an imbalance. So I think I just started CrossFit as a means of like, all right, this will strengthen me up for next year's sports or whatever.
Gotcha.
And then I ended up just not playing any more sports and going headfirst into CrossFit.
So basketball was like, you're like basically like screw sports, it's CrossFit full time.
Yeah.
So what got you hooked then?
I would say the obviously when you first like genuinely start CrossFit, I feel like if you are doing it correctly, like you see like improvements like really fast as far as like skills and stuff.
Yeah.
And at the time I was just like sending it to try to just get skills and stuff. And I think that was keeping me coming back for more, because I was like, oh my God, I can kit pull up. Like,
yeah.
Or like I can snatch 55 pounds. Let's get
Yeah.
65 next week. Like,
Yeah.
but that's just like, I think that's what hooked me at first. And then
Okay.
they moved me from the teen class to the adult class, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm big money now.
Oh, so it's like a huge like an ego boost. Like,
I was like, oh yeah, because I was the only like kid
in the teen class? Oh,
or
okay.
in the adult class.
Or
Like,
yeah, sorry, yeah.
I think I was 14 at the time. So
Wow. So you were like,
yeah,
this
I was
is-
like,
this
yeah,
is my
I'm the
future.
GOAT.
I'm
Like,
going to the games.
yeah, right now.
Sign me up for the open right now.
And then I did the open scaled AF, but
Okay. Right on. So what? Okay, so it was kind of like you started seeing progress really fast in the sport in CrossFit. How do you think that's different than like because obviously you'd never played basketball before. So like, were you not seeing skill acquisition fast in basketball versus? Is that
I definitely was. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like I was pretty decent at basketball. I feel like going right from ending rehab to like conditioning, I didn't have any time to like, mess around and see if it was actually what I wanted to do. I just had to kind of go for it and hope for the best.
okay?
I don't think I was like good enough as far as like skills and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was down and out for 2 years. I couldn't really practice, although I was out in the driveway like shooting hoops. But that's like all I had to go off of.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I mean, I saw improvements, especially over the course of the season. But like, I think just joining, the CrossFit gym and seeing those improvements, and then like going right into the open and feeling that energy, like it was just addicting.
Yeah. So it was like something you'd never experienced in sport before.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so that whole environment was what kind of got you hooked. The open was kind of what got you hooked. And
Yeah, I would say so. I just felt I'm competing with yourself and like trying to just get better. It feels like especially at the start of CrossFit, you just feel like, I just felt like I was always winning.
because it was like, oh, I snatched 55 last week. I snatched 65
Yeah.
this week. There's like actual like incremental measurements instead of like subjective, like, oh, I came off of that cut cleaner or something
Yeah,
in basketball.
exactly.
Yeah.
Or like, wow, we just got bombed on that game.
Yeah.
Like, I just felt like I was always winning. Like, every day I would show up, do a workout that I thought I couldn't do. Even if it was scaled, I was like, wow, like, this is pretty cool. Like, I feel like I'm just competing with myself. I'm taking no losses here.
Yeah. So it was like it was like building a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that confidence building like transferred over to a lot of other areas in your life, or was it mainly in the gym?
I would say so, because, I think at that point it just, I would say it carried over to just like more of like a personality thing, because I lost so much confidence from just being like a lazy bum.
Yeah.
Not
Not really, but
not,
like, relative to what you
right.
wanted to be doing. Yeah.
I think it just, I felt lighter on my feet. I feel like I carried myself better.
Yeah.
Just because I wasn't coming off of like, a day of sports like bummed out because,
You guys just got blown out by 50 points in a basketball game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just think I was riding a high, and it definitely carried over to just like everyday life.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So you left the gym almost every day with like, oh man, I just won that workout. I won that workout. It's like that was kind of like a snowball effect for you.
And at this time, I wasn't like competing with anybody like in the gym. I was just like, wow, this is cool. Like, I did 1 strict pull up today.
Yeah.
Or like 3 kipping handstand push. Like, it was cool unlocking new things and, leaving the gym feeling like I accomplished something extra mental. So.
Right. Did any of your other classmates like see you CrossFitting and like were they like, dang, check this girl out? Or
I remember like finishing out freshman year, and like that's when I had like started like kind of posting on Instagram. I remember I posted like a couple photos from the open that year.
Yeah.
And I was telling like my friends and my classmates and stuff about like, yeah, this is like really cool. Like I could, see myself doing this for real. And they weren't like gassing me up or anything, but they were like that's so cool. Like, you don't see many girls like out there lifting weights,
Right.
especially like we have like a weight class,
Right,
or
right.
weightlifting class at our school, but like no females are in it. So I think it was just out of the ordinary.
And it's like, I took one of those in high school too. It's kind of like you just go in and chill for.
They literally were just sitting around.
Yeah, yeah. Where like you're actually in the gym working hard. So like what, like knowing that you're doing all that hard stuff, and like your classmates kind of weren't. Was there any sort of like confidence builder in regards to like social interactions with them or anything like that, or just like day to day?
I would say so. I mean, I think they just looked at it as like, wow, this is like, it's cool that a female is like doing this. I don't think a lot of people understand the concept of CrossFit, so I think they just like, that's really cool. I don't know what you're doing, but it's cool.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
They see this, like I was posting stuff on like my stories and stuff. I wasn't really making reels or anything at this time, so
yeah.
They were just like, I think it's cool. I don't know, why you're jumping over that box, but it's cool.
But it's cool, yeah. Okay, so it wasn't really like people weren't like extra motivated by it in high school. Yeah, it was kind of just like I'm in my corner doing my thing. Yeah, okay.
And I mean, I liked it that way. It was, something that was my own. Like I wasn't on a basketball team sharing, these wins and losses with 20 other people. I was just day in day out, myself. So it was what it was, but I enjoyed the way it made me feel.
Yeah.
The rest of that year.
Yeah, that makes sense. What about, so like it seems like you're a little bit more into kind of the individual side of things, like versus like a team sport. Like what about CrossFit, or what kind of drives that for you? Like would you rather be doing something individual versus a team?
I definitely enjoy team stuff. Like, I don't know, for me, anytime I do like a team competition, even if it's for fun, I feel like the stress levels are so much different for me.
How so?
Like, I don't feel like it all relies on me, or like,
okay.
Like we just did the Myrtle Beach Throwdown a couple weeks ago. It was a 4-person team, which was the first time I have ever done a 4-person team anything. And I just felt like going into each workout, I was so much more like level-minded.
Okay.
I wasn't like all over the place, like, as far as where I need to be when. It was just like you go into your section and then,
you compete and then you go hang out with 3 other people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, the stress levels were lower compared to like for how I'm going to feel going out this weekend and competing by myself.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's fun though. I would 100% do more team things.
Okay, yeah. So team CrossFit is fun. Team real sports is not as fun.
No, I mean, I loved being on a team. I think just that time away from it, I grew apart from that idea, especially once I started CrossFit and like it was all individualized.
Okay, yeah.
Because, I mean, even for the longest time in CrossFit, I didn't do anything team either.
Right.
The furthest thing I would do would be like a partner WOD.
Right,
so, I think I just separated from it so much that like it seemed foreign at the idea of like going back.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So freshman year, kind of started CrossFit, did the Open. What happened the rest of your high school career?
That summer, I kind of dived more into like the idea of it being more competitive, more serious.
Yeah.
We hired a coach in my town. It was whatever.
Okay.
Nothing crazy. But it was like my sophomore year, I was like, all right, I'm going to online school. Like, we're doing this. So I did.
You going to what school?
Online school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I went in it pretty like aggressively, especially after that summer.
Yeah, okay. So you went to online school so that you could go and train more?
Yeah, I was training like 2 times a day.
Okay.
Didn't really have an objective. I didn't really even understand like the idea of like the CrossFit season.
Yeah.
So, I talked to my parents. My dad was pretty for it. He was like, "You do it, girl." My mom, my mom, she's like not into the whole like sport thing as much as like my dad has been. So she was like, I don't know. But then she came around. I, submitted the papers, joined like our Columbia or our county like online school.
Yeah.
Went for it. Just hit the ground running.
Went full in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah. 1 second.
Plug what in?
We'll edit this out.
Okay. Oh, it's Mike.
I always forget to do this. Okay. Otherwise the camera dies.
Is it going to die?
No, not anymore.
Okay.
Okay, so online school went full in, training 2 times a day.
Yeah.
How did that work out for you?
I mean, I still feel like at this point I was just like, this is great, and I felt like especially at this point, like, as you can imagine, that consistency from, like 6 months, I was already like improved so much.
Yeah.
I don't know what my programming really was at the time. It was just kind of all over the place.
Okay.
I probably didn't, like, I did that season. I made it to quarterfinals that year.
Okay. Individual quarterfinals or team quarterfinals?
Like team quarterfinals.
Okay.
It was my sophomore year. Went through the Open.
Mm-hmm.
This was 2022.
This is still 14-15 division, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This was like my second year. Since that first year was just like let's give this a go.
Yeah, right.
I did it all scaled, but this second year was like my first time. Like, I'd gotten ring muscle ups and bar muscle ups.
Mm-hmm.
All within a year, which was,
yeah, it's pretty crazy, honestly.
Yeah, it's cool. I did it all RX. I think I placed like 100th or something.
Okay.
They take the top 10% at this time, so I made it to quarterfinals, and I'm pretty sure I placed like 100th there or two.
Dang, 100?
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
It was a surreal feeling, especially going in, like, getting to do going through an experience like quarterfinals.
Okay.
That was like obviously the Open, we do like Friday night lights and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Going into quarterfinals for the first time and like having to set up cameras and do the clockwork, people wanting to come watch, like
mm-hmm.
It was, that definitely kept me going.
That was another this is sick.
Yeah, it was a cool feeling. Like, it felt like I was playing a sport. Like, my family came to watch.
Yeah.
After I had been like training alone for like 6 months.
Right.
So that experience was, it was cool.
Yeah, yeah. So that was kind of like another like, oh man, I'm hooked again type feeling. Okay.
It was a new type of feeling, just because it was first time I feel like I was competitive in the sport. Like,
you felt like you were actually playing the sport at that point in time.
Exactly, yeah.
Because you hadn't done any local competitions leading up to that, right?
I had done one that first summer.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
ACC, actually.
You did the ACC?
Beginner division.
Oh, wow, okay.
And you know who was in the lane next to me?
Stella?
Gracie.
Gracie was? That's hilarious.
Yeah. She looked like, I was like, you're not a beginner. Get out of here. You're not a beginner. She looked like how she does now. She's buffer now, but like, you can imagine. I was 14 and I look over at her and she's like, whoa, you're not a beginner. Get out of here.
Like, yeah. Did you say that to her?
No. I placed like, there were a lot of women, but I placed like 70th at like ACC that year.
How many women were there?
A lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was probably on like the back end of it, so there might have been like 90 women.
Wow. Okay. That's a huge beginner division.
Yeah.
Wow.
Apparently everybody's beginners.
Apparently.
Sandbaggers. Like, there was me like fighting for my life to get a 95-pound clean, and there's some girls that are just like
cycling it.
Yeah.
You're like, you're not a beginner.
Yeah, get out of here.
Right on. Okay, so did ACC.
And then circled back around in quarterfinals. That was the next thing I did, yeah.
Okay, so literally 2 competitions within your first, I guess 3 if you count the Open from last year. So 3 competitions in your first year. Mm-hmm. After quarterfinals, you felt like you were like genuinely playing a sport.
I did.
So like, what hooked even more? What happened after that?
I trained through the summer. We ended up switching gyms. So it was a hard change for me, just because I had like rooted into a gym.
Yeah.
It was like so it was just like my first big change, but I adjusted pretty quickly. I was surrounded by new people. I found like new training partners.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. They get me through every day still. So, I found new training partners, and at this time I didn't have a coach anymore, so I was doing like mayhem.
Okay. This is like junior year, right?
Yeah, like going
Okay.
into junior year. And that's when I started to like kind of slow down. Like felt like I hit like
okay.
kind of a plateau.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just kind of how it goes with those like generic like comp programs.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of mayhem programming. No hate, but
But hate, I guess.
yeah, like light shade on that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I just kind of just slowed down, and I was like, I felt like I had no direction really. I was just kind of at this time I was still online,
Yeah.
so I would just go in and like hope for the best.
Yeah. It was just like, oh, here's my things on paper. Or I don't know if this is what I actually need to do,
Yeah.
but I'll just do it.
Yeah, I'll just do it.
Yeah.
Because at this point I was starting to train for the 16 to 17s, which looking back now, I hate that I had no direction, because obviously if I would have like had direction, I feel like, you know, things would have turned out differently.
Yeah.
But I eventually, I guess it was, so into the summer, I was doing like the mayhem stuff, and then I did the Fittest of the Coast online qualifier.
Okay.
And I'd finished one of the workouts, and I was like, I can't. I need something to change.
Yeah.
I was like, I have no direction. Like, I feel like I'm plateaued, and I've been plateaued. Like, something needs to change. And my stepmom, you know, we left that day, and I was working at the time, working at Chick-fil-A.
Sick.
She texted me, and she's like, I think I found you a coach. You know, you hop on a call with him next week or something like that.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, kind of eased my brain, because at this point, I think I had like missed the cut line for the Fittest of the Coast qualifier.
Okay.
I ended up getting a backfill,
Yeah.
but I got on that like a phone call with the coach, got things kind of rolling.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'd say again, I started to like peak again.
Okay.
Come
You
off of that
started to see
plateau.
improvement again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I got that. At this point, he was like, "Yeah, we need to focus on strength." Because I, went through the testing month or whatever for him to like get a baseline of where I was at. He was like, "Well, strength is the biggest thing." I was definitely probably weaker than I needed to be at the time, but I was probably 10 pounds lighter than I am now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like pretty tiny compared to like some of these girls in our field.
Yeah.
But he got me back onto like, everyday program, 3-hour session. I felt like I had direction again.
Yeah. You could see the structure in your training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like mayhem, I felt like was just kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
Had so many options to choose from. I was like, I just need somebody to tell me what to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was definitely strength oriented. So like I would go in and be lifting for most of the session.
Yeah.
Or doing like accessories. But I got the backfill for Fittest of the Coast. And I knew going into it I wasn't going to be very fit, because I had just been like lifting from like November till Fittest of the Coast.
Okay.
That was my next competition. Pretty terrible.
Did not have a good experience there.
It was I liked the competition itself, but I was just like not fit.
Okay.
So
But was that kind of the expectation going in?
Yeah. I mean, when I got that backfill, I told him, I was like, I think I do want to do it. He was like, yeah, just like keep your mind right that you're not going to be like the fittest person there. I was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this was like my first, I would say, like big girl competition.
Right. Yeah, going from beginner ACC right to Fittest of the Coast, 16, 17, that's a jump.
Yeah, so I mean, it was the weights and stuff were obviously a little bit scary. Because like you went to Fittest of the Coast this year. Like we're doing,
What was your guys' squat clean weight this year?
It was 125.
125.
I would say things more like the devil's press, like the double 35s.
Oh, okay.
Things like that. A little bit more intimidating.
Yeah.
It's a true, I feel like, RX comp for, somebody of the age that I am. So it was definitely intimidating, especially once I started releasing the workouts. But I went in it, I was like, well, I have this opportunity, so I'm going to take it, obviously. I enjoyed it. It was a long weekend, but I placed this year they only took 9 or 10 people.
The first year you went. Yeah. Okay.
So I placed 7th.
Okay.
Or 8th or something.
Yeah. So how is that? Because like it seems like you had been stacking wins, right? And then you hit fittest of the coast, and it's like, whoa, this is 16, 17 is a completely other ball game. So like, how is that like?
It was an eye opener. I was just like, well, and here comes the Open. Here it comes. Like, at this point, it was like a couple weeks out from the Open. I was like, dang,
this is gonna be tough.
Yeah, this is gonna be rough. But I was just trying to trust the process. Like, I mean, I had only been with this coach for a couple months. I was like, we're still in the heat of our lifting cycles. Like, I got the opportunity to be here. I think this is just another, thing to add to the book to, take, have some takeaways from. So I just took it more of like a learning experience. It was my first 16 to 17-year-old comp. So I used it just kind of as like a, piece of knowledge going into the Open, which I feel like I think that was a good play.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So what happened after the Open then?
I made it to quarterfinals. This year the cut lines were a little bit different, I'm pretty sure.
I think that was the year they opened up to top 25%, right?
Yeah, because this was last year. So, I mean, I made it to quarterfinals. The Open was good. I got to, like, I accomplished things that, like, I couldn't have accomplished,
previously?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Specifically, probably that workout with the bar muscle ups, the thrusters, had, like, chest to bar and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All of the, like, some of those movements had come a really long way. So just, I mean, there are takeaways. I wasn't as, like, aerobically fit, but, I was throwing around a 95-pound thruster.
It's a little bit different than being scared of a 95-pound clean.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is what it is, but I was excited moving forward because I made quarterfinals and then I ended up making semifinals that year too.
Oh, okay. Nice. Congrats.
It was good, but obviously the cut lines were pretty lenient, so
yeah,
I made them with a breeze, but the workouts, I mean,
they were what they were.
Yeah. Crushed.
Yeah.
Crushed me.
Right on. So after semifinals, like what was kind of the goal and thought process then?
Did ACC again.
Okay. This is second year at ACC, right?
I did it sophomore year. That summer. I'd done it every year of high school.
Okay.
Freshman, sophomore, junior, and this will be my last one.
Okay.
So going in ACC again, I still wasn't like the fittest person there. So I got to see improvements. I think I did that beach run, and that day, that was the last day, I was having a really hard time. I was like, bro, like I don't want to do this. I'm like, I'm tired. Like this is terrible.
Yeah.
I placed better this year. Can't remember what I got. Maybe like this. They take like, I think this year they took like, or there was like 15 people signed up.
Okay.
So I think I got 7th. Lucky number apparently.
Yeah.
I was all right with that. I was like, okay, middle of the pack. And there's people there that like, I mean, pretty decent. Yeah. Like girls. Some of them were even like games athletes. So, I was like, okay, this is all right considering like my fitness level. I was like, it's another thing to add to the book. Work on some weaknesses. And then I just trained that summer, like nothing special. Okay. And then I went entering my senior year, I went back to school.
Oh, okay. In person. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You were done with online?
Yeah, I was fed up. I was like, I need to change. I was like, it's my senior year. Like, I'm just going to go back to school.
I need to see people.
I did 3 periods, like my 3 main like classes, and then the things that I did at home were like the filler classes that we had to have.
Oh, okay. Was everyone like, oh shit, Elliott's back? Or
I mean, it was like, I didn't really tell anybody I was coming back. So I come back after 2 years and everybody's like, interesting.
Who's this?
Where have you been? Yeah, some people just didn't know me. And I was like, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was cool. I was glad to be back because I feel like it added some structure that I was missing in my life.
Okay.
I do like routine, so it kept me on a routine every day.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It was nice. I mean, I'd get up, go to school, and then I would go from school to the gym.
Okay.
In the morning.
Yeah. So when did you start with Griffin?
I came up here in October.
Okay.
talked to him a little bit, and then we started at like the beginning of November.
Okay. So it's kind of just, you were just training, kind of.
I had the same coach that I had
Yeah.
with Brute, and then met him, aligned some stuff, and then we started in November.
Yeah. So what is the big difference been? Because you kind of been in a couple different programs now. Like, what's the biggest difference been? Like when you started up here?
I think just like for once it felt personalized. I think all of the coaches here do a good job at like making everybody feel personalized. Like I had a coach, a one-on-one coach, but I was doing like compete programming.
Yeah.
Like I was confused. I was like, I could be paying for just compete programming then. Like why do I?
Why? Yeah.
Like Griffin does a good job at like communicating and like creating a program that targets everything that I need.
Yeah.
And this was the first time, like obviously we went through with my previous coach all of like, my weakness. Like we did like a lifting cycle, but like I left working with him and I still feel like, that was a year of like just straight lifting. I was like, well, why am I still only squat cleaning 10 pounds more than that?
Yeah.
It's like I've been doing the work, but like something's off. So, we targeted it. We broke down, like found the problem, like what I had been, dealing with. And then, I was doing the programming and like almost immediately improvements were being made.
Yeah. I think you hit like a 20-pound back squat PR in like January or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sick.
It was, it was kind of one of those moments where I was, excited again.
Yeah.
I started working with him, back in November, and like training was fun again. Like I felt like I had a purpose again. And then obviously, getting to PR is always a plus, but like when it started showing in my workouts and like I was doing things that I thought I could never do. And also like, I feel like me personally, I'm pretty sure most all athletes deal with this, just like imposter syndrome, not thinking you can do something, but like coach, like Griffin sees right through it. He's like, I know you can do it. So he programs me and I do it. That kind of stuff definitely is important to an athlete who's trusting, for somebody to guide them. I definitely felt like, like I said, excited to be training again at this point.
So you felt like you actually had a coach at this point in time, and somebody that was like in your corner, giving you a program that was like, this is for me, and they're pushing me exactly the way that I need to be pushed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It showed tremendously when we went to Fit Us to the Coast.
Yeah. How so?
Like I had never had an experience like that. All of the competitions I've done, I was, essentially doing them alone.
Right.
I had my parents and stuff there, aiding me along the way, but like, I'd have to like ask for warm-ups for my workouts. Or like, how do I pace this? But especially like you guys being there in person, like it was like, something I never had. He was in the warm-up area. He was, keeping me on track all weekend, providing me with the warm-ups, breaking down paces, planning. But even just like emotionally, like it provided me with an experience like I've never had. I felt the most calm going into a competition.
Yeah.
And I was pretty excited for Fit Us to the Coast this year because of how much I had proved in such a short amount of time. And it showed with the workouts and how I did throughout the weekend.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was just another stepping stone of like, oh yeah, this is definitely where I'm meant to be. Like I'm in the right direction. Finally off the plateau that I had been on.
Yeah, yeah. So where did you, because I think you placed, top 5 at Fit Us to the Coast this last year?
I placed, I think 6th.
6, okay.
Yeah.
But it was like top 5 on the strength event, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is like completely different athlete than you had been in the past, right?
What did I get? 3rd? I think on the last event, which had, I mean, a heavy D-ball and some heavy squat cleans.
Right.
But also just like, I mean, there had been like heavy implements all over the weekend, and not a single one had like stopped me in my tracks like it did the year before. So I was, maybe I got like a sixth place finish, but I was like, I just did double 35 pound
devil's press.
Yeah, I was with bar muscle ups. Like,
yeah.
I mean, these girls are freaks of nature, so they're hard to compete with. But I was like, for once, I wasn't comparing myself to everybody else around me. I was like, holy crap, like I just did that. All these bar muscle ups unbroken are like, I handstand walked, bunch of toes, like things like that. I felt finally like I was not comparing myself. I think Griffin also did a really good job at like keeping me in my own lane, like reminding me of how much I've improved on and like how far I've come. And that definitely helped, because when you're competing, I mean, with coach or not, like your head starts like,
it's stressful.
Yeah, you start to deviate and you're like, am I meant to be here? Am I, fit enough? And especially with going to all these competitions without a coach, that was just like my reality. Like I was like,
you're like, whoa,
dude,
this makes such a difference.
Yeah, I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
So aside from like having some good finishes, I was definitely excited leaving that weekend with like how personally I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was definitely like a good boost going right into the season.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I mean, the Open was like 2 weeks later.
Right. It was real soon.
Yeah.
So Open happens. I think you guys kind of coasted through that a little bit. That wasn't like a huge milestone.
No, I mean, I had improved by 100 spots in the Open.
Hell yeah.
So I was, that was.
And the Open was, I shouldn't say coast. It was a little bit more serious this year because they were taking only the top 1% of
it was,
age group.
Seeing it in numbers was very cool, but like also my performance and stuff was, it was great. But yeah, it wasn't, our eyes were obviously on semifinals because it was Open to semifinals this year.
Right.
But it was definitely a push in the right direction going into semifinals. Yeah, so through the Open right into semifinals.
Yeah.
It was
what?
The structure of the season was a little messy, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
It'll change.
It will. Literally,
because that's
will.
the only constant is change.
Yeah.
So how did semifinals go for you then? Because that was like some heavier weights, shorter workouts, faster workouts.
I was obviously, I didn't make the games or anything, but compared to where I was and like how recently I had started with Griffin and like getting to go through the weekend, I was proud stepping away from that weekend. There were many wins I had as far as like workouts go. Improvements here and there. I was just mentally, I was leaving the season and I was like, this is great. Like I'm definitely doing what I need to be doing. I was talking to Griffin about this the other day. I was like, if only like I had, found blacklisted sooner. But like, I feel like, my odds would be a little bit better. But I was like, I can't hold that against myself.
Everybody finds what they're supposed to find at the right time in their life.
It's frustrating, but I was like, I'm just glad that I'm here now, headed in hopefully the right direction. Semifinal just added to that, just as this year has, like all of these events I've done this year have. So I'm just excited for what's next. Semifinals is great. This was also my first time getting to like be surrounded by other girls, Stella and Amber,
right?
But also like having all of you guys there, just supporting. Getting to see older ladies like Amy, like that's more than motivating to me.
Yeah.
So having an experience like that, being able to like
have a community that's like also competitive but like helping you out at the same time.
Like it's one thing, like I love the people at my gym, like they'll go out of their way, set up the floor and stuff, but like being able to have people around me in the same spot as I am was, I mean, a game changer. Essentially, it felt as competitive as like an in-house competition could feel.
Yeah. So it's pretty fun. Semifinals are pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, I probably wasn't going into it as serious as like Stella was or like Amber was, obviously, because they're in different positions than I am. But I was just like, I was humble and I was excited to do the weekend. It was a long weekend, don't get me wrong, but like, it was like all that I needed.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was great.
Yeah. Okay, so what's next?
Just graduated in the fall. I'm going into the fire academy.
Sick.
To be a firefighter.
Okay. What prompted this decision?
Majority of high school, that's kind of what I wanted to do. It's definitely out of the ordinary. Like, not many people are like, in general, not many people are like, I'm going to be a firefighter. But like also, you know, as a girl, like I'm one of few that are just like, yeah, I'm going into the fire academy.
Yeah.
But I had deviated a little bit. I got accepted into Kennesaw. I was going to come up here for nursing.
Okay.
Which is a great plan. Like I 100% was like locked in and dialed on that. But
yeah.
I just like I was denying myself away from something that I did genuinely want to at least try.
Okay.
My mentality is school will always be there.
Yep.
But I always won't be as capable as I am to like be a firefighter.
Yeah.
So that's my plan as of right now. You know, I have some like connections as far as like fire school goes, so I'll get in the fall.
Okay.
And then it's like a 6-month process.
Yeah.
I'll graduate that with an EMT certification as well as fire.
Oh, cool. Okay. So do you go to station after that, or?
I do.
Yeah.
At that point, I don't know if I might move.
Yeah.
Out of my hometown or.
Oh, the academy will be in your hometown? Yeah. Okay, nice.
I have been looking at some around here, but you know, that's
a future Ellyott.
That's a choice, right?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
It's fire school, so I can really do it anywhere, and as well as I can firefight anywhere.
Yeah.
It's a 6-month school, so I don't mind doing it at home. You know, it's all paid training, so
oh, nice.
I'll be able to like rack in the money, and then I can go from there.
Yeah. Do you know what the schedule is like daily? Is it pretty grueling?
Yeah, it is Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
Okay.
Or it's like 8 to 4, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's something that'll be a big change for me.
Yeah.
I'm more than willing to do it. It's 6 months. Things will definitely look different, but I'm a very patient person.
Yeah.
As far as like, especially my future. So, you know, take it day by day.
Day by day. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's pretty cool. What kind of like got you interested in firefighting though? And how did you always know that was what you wanted to do?
Growing up, I always wanted to be on the front line in some capacity. Like I grew up surrounded by nurses.
Okay. Some sort of public service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say I like helping people. I wouldn't say I'm like a big people person, but like I enjoy helping others.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly like what pinpointed my mind onto firefighting. I just remember like freshman year before I went online, I'd signed up for like at school firefighting class.
Oh, okay.
I didn't obviously end up getting to do it because I went online, but
yeah.
I think just the fact that it's so out of the ordinary, but also I'm a big person that loves like adrenaline and fast-paced like environments. I feel like I work good under pressure. And I feel like at that point I was just like, oh yeah, firefighting is the way to go. Totally.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, it was just a hope and a dream, and now I'm here just gonna see if it's truly like
what you want to do.
Yeah, it makes sense for me.
Yeah. That makes sense.
It is what it is. We're gonna figure it out. I'm still young, so, and everybody keeps telling me that, so I'm gonna say it. But I'm still young, so you know, I can always pivot. But I mean, I think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
There's, literally people in the sport. I was talking about with Griffin the other day. Like Chloe Wilson.
Yep.
People like her, like getting to, like, especially freshman year, that was when she was like pretty competitive. Like,
Yeah.
In the sport, as far as like, you know, competing at semifinals, and then she was known as like a firefighter.
Yep.
And I thought that was so cool. I was like, I could see myself like through, or at, like in her, as far as like this is how my future
like a
could
role
look.
model type person, and this is the steps I need to take type thing.
Because she was literally doing, especially at the time, like she was competing at Granite Games, and
very high level.
Yeah, posting on Instagram her at the station, and I was like, this is so cool. Like,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, essentially like a role model.
Yeah.
People like her just inspire me more about the whole job situation.
Right.
It's not going to be an easy feat, but like, I'm interested, so I'm going to go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's definitely going to be a challenge, but, just watching you kind of over the last, 6 months, 8 months?
Yeah.
Like, it seems like something you're up for, so I think it's going to be fun. I
think it aligns with my personality well.
For sure.
Get to use some physical attributes as well, so that'll be cool.
Yeah.
I just hope, as far as like the job itself, hopefully that is something that I'm capable of.
For sure.
That's just something I'm gonna have to figure out. I don't think I would even know that doing fire school. I think it's gonna take me getting on a truck and like actually going out, but
right.
We'll see. We were talking the other day I was talking with Stella and Griffin just about like, the patients and stuff, and my training will look different, obviously. But I think I'm just excited for the years of like my early 20s.
Yeah.
I'm solid, hopefully, with where I am as far as my profession, but also I still do want to compete.
Yeah.
Hopefully around, it's 21, 22, 23, I have, like, I'm inserting myself in the competition around that time, hopefully.
Yeah, I think, like, watching you, I think you're going to be, like, a little bit of a late peaker, if that makes sense. And, like, I think 23, 24 is when you're going to really hit your stride in the sport. But, yeah, I think there's a lot of potential for you. So.
I mean, I'm that just keeps me excited. It's years from now, but I'm that's like what my eyes are like locked on in the future. So, going through these next couple of years and building a good base.
Yep.
Growing up.
Yeah.
Unc status.
What's Unc status?
Uncle. I'm somebody's uncle right now.
You're
I'm old.
You have a nephew?
No.
Oh.
Unc status, I'm old. That means you're old.
That's just what that means? Okay.
Like, I'm graduated, now I'm going into like the real world, I'm Unc status.
I see.
It's a new term for you.
What am I then?
You're an Unc.
I'm like way older than you though. My grandpa?
Yeah, you could be Gramps.
Okay. Fair.
Unc status is unlocked at this point, but I mean, still excited for my early 20s. I think just continue to compete and hopefully just get my name out there a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, Caroline has questions for you.
Okay.
What does your tattoo mean?
Oh, this?
Yeah.
So I got this last year after ACC.
Okay.
In Florida. I got it for my dad. Let's see. When I was young, he's a great guy. He's way better now. He dealt with like substance abuse.
Yeah.
And my parents went through a divorce when I was young. And I, little child, got on my mom's phone. I was like trying to give him a call late at night, PM 10:37.
That's what the tattoo is 10:37 time.
Yeah. I gave him a call. He didn't answer. And I was just like, love you, miss you, whatever, like kid. But it ended up stopping him from harming himself that night. And he went and got like help the next week. So it's just, I got it for him as like a late Father's Day gift because it was around this time last year. But just as like a symbol of
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, like him putting his best, like fighting for me and my brother.
Yeah.
Putting his last little bit of effort that he can muster up to, all right, I can get help, you know.
Yeah.
Just because, times were rough back then.
Yeah.
Didn't have the greatest childhood, but he mustered up everything he had, and he went and got some rehab.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a sick tattoo.
He's like, I'm pretty sure, if not more than 10 years sober now.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome. Congrats.
Shout out to Dad.
Yeah. Very cool. Okay, Caroline also wants to know if you would have a pet snake.
What are these questions, Caroline?
That's what I was asking her when she was telling them to me.
A pet snake? No. I
Okay.
have 3 huge dogs, and I have no need or want for a snake. I don't even like snakes.
Yeah.
That's such an odd question. No, I don't want a snake, please. No.
Agreed.
No snakes, please.
She had other ones, but I forgot to write them down. But
Pet snake?
yeah.
No. No.
All right. Last one. What does FYP mean?
Bro. For You page. Hashtag For You page. That's a TikTok hashtag. The For You page is something on TikTok. I don't know why you use it the way you do.
How do I use it?
You say everything. You're so FYP. You're so For You page.
That's
As
pretty
in,
sick.
I'm so, For You page worthy. I'm so worthy of blowing up on TikTok. You just use it, out of context.
Or maybe it's the new context for it.
I mean, you're definitely trying to make it the new context, but
Okay.
FYP For You page.
This podcast was pretty FYP.
Whatever. Yeah. It's pretty FYP.
All right, Elliott. How do people find you?
Follow me on Instagram, Ellyott Frazer _
TikTok?
Same thing.
Sweet.
And I have my Elliott's Lifts TikTok. That's where I just post all my Instagram reels.
Okay. Sweet. This podcast, I think, will be coming out when you're actually competing at ACC. So,
Fire.
yeah, check the leaderboard, guys. See how Elliott's doing.
Hopefully I don't bite dust or get, murdered on the sand.
You'll crush it. Please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys for the next one.
Fire.